So myself, the guys at Jmail, and the guys at DropSite, we've been investigating this. I've partnered with them to kind of look at some of these files. And they got access to volume 8 early. You would just type it in the URL. It wasn't like indexable on search, but you could just type in the specific URL and it would just come up. You could download the entire zip file, and that's what we did. We've been looking through it. I want to go over some of it because I believe some of what we've seen directly contradicts the FBI's earlier statement that, oh, there's no evidence, or we did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Guys, I kid you not when I say that this is the biggest cover-up in American history. We have just had bombshell after bombshell drop today, and MAGA is in absolute shambles. The Trump DOJ is absolutely flailing as they desperately try to control the narrative. And this leak for them is worse than the Exxon Valdez, man. No matter how bad they try to spin it, no matter how much they try to obfuscate or conceal the evidence or just lie about it outright, this thing is a runaway train, and there is no getting the tube back in the toothpaste. So I'm going to get into all of it. You guys are going to do me a huge, huge favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel. It takes you less than 2 seconds. And by the way, huge shout out to everybody. Thank you so much. I've seen a massive uptick in subs and the amount of views and engagement. Really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. It's kind of like Christmas came early. Okay, so let's get into it. I kind of alluded in the last video that Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie were already drafting articles of impeachment for Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche, as we're going to see here.
And, you know, the country's asking, why are you protecting these folks? What are you hiding? Massie and I are ready. We're drafting articles of impeachment as we speak about Pam Bondi and Blanchard. We're not going to drop them right away. They're saying they're going to keep producing things until the end of the year, but we're ready to use them. And we're talking to survivors about showing up again at the Capitol.
Really, this should not be any surprise to anyone. Like, they have been not only refusing to release the Epstein files for all year, but like when they were finally given a deadline, when literally every single member of Congress, save for one Republican, said, yeah, we want to go ahead and move forward with the release of the Epstein files. And Trump himself signed the bill into law. They had a 30-day deadline to get this information out in its entirety, with redactions only applying to victims. And they even went in after the fact to clarify that, like, these redactions shall not be applied to anybody who's like in government or a political person or some kind of powerful person that might be embarrassed. And yet they still have slow rolled the release, and they've tried to redact as much as possible. But it has not worked. These guys were actually able to get this information, to like leak this information on the Epstein files by literally like just going onto the DOJ website and like taking the file and then copy pasting it into the URL, and then instead of like it being file 7, they just like changed the number to 8, and then boom, the thing that was not posted on the DOJ website, it suddenly pops up. It's like, it is laughable. Like, these people are flagrantly stupid. It is like comical incompetence that like they were able to, like, guys, this is the Department of Justice of the United States of America, okay? These guys have some of the most sensitive and sought after information in the world right now. They have access to the world's most well-funded intelligence agencies. And it took these guys less than 5 seconds to hack it and get this information. Although I'd be like, hacking is actually not really the correct descriptor. I mean, this is like, they didn't even hack it. This is like the equivalent of you're trying to break into somebody's computer and you go to password and you just go, I don't know, guest or like password 1, and then it like magically opens. It's like, it was that easy. This is so embarrassing. So embarrassing for Trump's DOJ. But here's what they found. So they actually found an email correspondence of people talking about multiple co-conspirators. In fact, 10 co-conspirators that they knew about back as early as 2019 and probably even before that. This is rock solid evidence that they knew for a fact it was more than just Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, which, by the way, everybody needs to remember, the official story on this was always that no, it was nobody else involved. It was just Jeffrey Epstein. It was just Ghislaine Maxwell. And they just by themselves, they trafficked over 1,000 women just to themselves. Who the fuck believes this? But this is the funnier part, is that like Kash Patel actually testified in front of Congress and lied under oath when he said that they don't know about anybody else. Here, look, take a look.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
So there's Senator Kennedy, a Republican, questioning Kash Patel, and he goes, no, we don't know of any other evidence. Bro, there's no fucking shot he didn't know about this. He is lying. He's lying. But why? Why are they protecting all these other people when they know for a fact that there are at least 10 other co-conspirators that are involved in this whole thing? And I get the fact that, like, all right, we got Ghislaine Maxwell, we got Jeffrey Epstein. We don't want to jeopardize the case that is ongoing with Ghislaine Maxwell, but these 10 other people, none of them were ever indicted. None of them were ever brought to trial. They had subpoenas. They had grand jury subpoenas for these people, and none of them were ever brought in. It's absurd. It's completely crazy. So the question is, why were these people not charged? I mean, like, obviously, Ghislaine Maxwell was charged. She's hanging out in a Club Fed. She's hanging out in a low security or minimum security prison now where she gets a puppy and she gets to go out and play pickleball and she gets to order DoorDash and all this shit. And she's being treated really, really well. She's the only one who's in prison currently who we know for a fact knows where all the bodies are buried. And I mean, can we go back to the guy? I referenced this guy who was caught on undercover camera basically saying exactly what we all knew all along. Here, check it out.
Oh, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, democratic people in those files.
I think they visited that Maxwell person.
Yeah.
And also involved.
She got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep her on shut.
It's very much against the Bureau of Prisons standard for someone who is a criminal of her caliber to be in a minimum security prison like that. And he outright says, like, they're basically paying her off to not say anything. It could not be more clear. This is a guy who works for the DOJ saying that. But I want to actually move over to Brian Krassenstein. I hope I'm saying that right. Krassenstein. He also was able to basically do the exact same thing that CoffeeZilla and Ryan Grimm were able to do, which is that he just took a DOJ document that had been heavily redacted, copy and pasted it, put it in a Word document, and then boom, all the black is removed. And you can read it. Here, check it out. This is phenomenal.
I was just able to recover some of the redactions to Trump's Epstein files, and you won't believe what I just found. The Trump DOJ screwed up some of the redactions so bad that you can recover them. And I did so simply by copying and pasting the text. When I did, this is what was there. This is 100% proof that Trump tried to cover up the existence of other participants in Epstein's crimes. It says right here that they paid large sums of money to participant witnesses in order to keep them quiet, as well as their attorney's fees. This means that Trump tried to hide the fact that there's other participants and other attorneys who know about it, as well as those who helped Epstein release damaging stories and destroy evidence. This is the biggest cover-up in American history.
So again, like, why are they hiding this information? Also, like, can I just say that, like, are we seeing a pattern here that, like, both of these guys are able to just, like, declassify this stuff and unredact this stuff by simply, like, just copy pasting a URL or copy pasting something into a Word doc? Like, unbelievable incompetence. Like, they're not even good at covering up the evidence that they're desperately trying to make sure does not get out, let alone they're not good at their job in general, because what they're doing right now is blatantly violating the law. Bryan Cranston actually had even more, and this story is even crazier and more disturbing. So here, check this out. Okay, guys, so this was part of the leaked data set 8 that came out, and basically this is a story about how a limo driver picked up Trump and overheard him talking about abusing a girl on the phone with somebody named named Jeffrey. This is wild. Here, check this out. And it is heavily redacted, so I'm going to try and interpret what all the blackouts mean. But so it says, blank noted, so I'm assuming that's the driver. The driver noted he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to DFW Airport. The driver reported some of the things President Trump had spoken about during the ride while on his phone were very concerning. The driver reported he was, quote, a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him, Trump, out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things that he was saying. As a caller, choose not to. I don't know what that means. Blank, the driver, noted Trump continuously stated the name, quote, Jeffrey, while on the phone and made references to, quote, abusing some girl. The driver was unsure who he was talking to, nor who he was referencing. As the driver talked about his time meeting Trump, blank demeanor went stone cold as blank stated he raped me. So I think this is where the girl who actually was raped is apparently like talking to the limousine driver. Blank said what as blank replied Donald J. Trump had raped her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Blank noted some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel or building. That's how it happened. Blank advised blank to call the police. So I'm assuming that's the driver advised the girl to call the police regarding the incident as she stated, I can't, they will kill me. On Christmas Day, blank contacted blank stated she had in fact called the police. So he called her and she said she did talk to the police about what they had talked about. Blank told blank she had done good. So the driver told her, you've done good. Blank did not hear from blank or blank until January 10th of 2000. So I'm assuming the driver didn't hear from the girl or whoever else until 2000. Blank reached out to blank stating blank was dead and noted she was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and blank stated there was no way this was a suicide. The coroner stated it was a suicide. Blank later stated blank committed suicide because blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the murder was a cover for Ghislaine. Jesus Christ. So this is like... This is a limousine driver back in 1995 saying, I overheard him talking about abusing women over the phone. And it was so disgusting to the point where I almost pulled over the car and pulled him out of the back and beat the shit out of him for how disgusting he was being on the phone. And this is Trump. No doubt it's Trump. And the Jeffrey he's talking to, obviously we all know who we think that is. Keep in mind this whole pattern of suicides because this is going to bring everything full circle. I actually sort of forgot about this, and then after I read that letter from the last video about like him saying that he was on his way out, I forgot about the fact that Epstein was attacked in his cell before he was moved to suicide watch. So here we go. On July 23rd, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found unconscious in his cell at the MCC in New York with neck injuries, snoring loudly, unresponsive. The medical staff documented, quote, a circular line of erythema at the base of his neck, along with other marks and friction and bruising on his knee. Okay. Epstein told the prison staff that he didn't remember what had happened, but was afraid to return to the special housing unit, saying where he had gotten marks on his neck, it was where he had gotten the marks on his neck and he didn't know why it happened. So was he drugged? Was he attacked? Did he lose consciousness? Like was he knocked out? He said that he had only slept for 30 minutes a night for 5 days due to the noise and the stress. His cellmate, ex-cop Nicholas had reportedly, man, I'm fucking Italian and I can't say this. Tartaglione had reportedly been harassing him, and Epstein claimed, quote, he tried to kill me. Staff noted that T-Man had been aggressive and was seen mocking Epstein with a string around his neck. Despite these signs, the incident was labeled as a possible suicide attempt. Okay, so, guys, they desperately want everybody to think that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, even though this pretty clearly shows that he said that he was attacked and that the ex-cellmate was mocking him. And then here, this one is even better. So you got from the Washington Post, new files show prison officials plan to house Epstein in a cell with Cesar Sayoc, a fanatical Trump supporter who in 2019 was sentenced to 20 years in prison after he mailed pipe bombs to prominent Democrats in the media and media figures. I remember this story. I remember Cesar Sayoc getting taken in. Epstein was under Trump's DOJ at the time when he was president the first time around. So he's under federal custody under Trump. Epstein has shit tons, just under a metric ass ton of dirt on Trump. And who does Trump put in a cell with him? A guy who is willing to send explosives to his political enemies, to Democrats. You really think that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? Really? You really think Virginia Giuffre killed herself? You really think that Jean-Luc Brunel killed himself? I mean, do you really think that that girl, whoever the redacted name is, you really think she killed herself when she said they're going to kill me? This is fucking mob shit, all right? Like, this is mafia shit right out of the movies. It's like, hey, I think the guy, you may know a little bit too much. You might want to take care of him. This is what's going on. It could not be more obvious. They're having people literally taken out, and the only person who is alive currently, who knows where all the bodies are buried, who is actually in federal custody, is Ghislaine Maxwell, and she is getting the 5-star spa treatment in prison to keep her mouth shut. Anyway, if you did make it this far, please do me a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I know it was a long one. These do take a lot of time to put together. I'm only a one-man band. I'm the one who does all of the filming, all of the research, all of the editing. I have to do the thumbnails. So the way that you can give me an early Christmas gift is to just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody else. On that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.